I'm letting go of one of my current biggest revenue drivers to make space for something even better. I told you in episode 49 that it felt like I was blowing up my business, and this is why. So in this episode, I'm sharing the second big decision I made within the span of 24 hours, why I'm doing it, and what will take its place. If you're curious to find out what it is, then stick around to get the scoop. Let's dive in. Hey, I'm Lucy Reyes, your host of the Cheerful Productive Chats podcast, where I'm on a mission to help online entrepreneurs like you focus on all the right things and kiss overwhelm goodbye. Here, you're going to learn strategies that will boost your productivity so that you can scale your online biz and impact lives sooner. It's your time to shine, so let's get started. Hey, welcome back to the Cheerful Productive Chats podcast. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a bit nervous about this episode because I am sharing one big decision that I have made very recently. It was kind of out of the blue and it may or may not be a big deal to you, but it's definitely a big deal to me. So I briefly want to recap part one because this is part two to this. I'm blowing up my business because I made two big decisions. So in episode 49, I talked about the first big decision that I made, which was only possible because of the second decision that I made, which is the one that I'm going to share about in this episode. So the first decision that I made was that I decided to lower the price to my Productive Entrepreneurs Club. It is now a very low ticket membership, so that way I can help spread the productivity impact as much as possible and make it super easy for you to dive in and be able to get the support that you need. So if you haven't listened to episode 49, I definitely recommend that you go back and listen to that. And if you're interested in joining me inside the Productive Entrepreneurs Club, just head to cheerstoproductivity.com/club. Now, I was only able to reduce the price to that membership because of what else I'm doing along with it. Because kind of like I shared in that episode, I talked about the reality of being able to support such a low cost membership, which is you need to have a really large audience. Like you'll need to have a really large amount of members in order to make a mini membership at a 7, 12, 9, like that low price point possible. And I personally don't have 10, 20, 30,000 members or subscribers on my email list. So it's going to be even harder for me to make that mini membership sustainable on its own. And so I always really struggled with that of trying to make something super accessible because I come from a low income family growing up and we had a lot of money mindset issues. So I know it can be hard to invest more than that. And so I really wanted to make that possible, but I just couldn't do it. I couldn't support it with the other things that I had going on in my business. But then I made a second decision, or I had another idea, and then pairing up that idea with this that I really wanted to do and putting it together, I was like, you know what? I could actually make this work. Like this could work. And after sitting with it for a while, after talking to my OBM about it, within 24 hours, it was like, okay, this is what we're doing. We're blowing up my business. All right, we're going to rebuild it, but okay. So this second decision that I made was that I'm going to retire Level Up Your Biz with Trello. Now, if you've been around me for however long you've been around me for, you very likely know what this is. I talked about it all the time on this podcast. It's one of the first things that I mentioned when you join my email list. It's like everyone goes through this funnel that at least invites you to join this program. It is and has been my signature program for about 2 years. And so this has been my baby. Like this is my business baby that I loved and nurtured and updated and just poured everything into and really wanted to get as many people as possible into this program. But it's not a cheap program. Like, I'm not going to lie. And cheap is relative, or is subjective. Like, everyone has a different definition of what cheap means. And I don't mean cheap as in value, because it was definitely underpriced, which is part of what I'm going to share about. But just the fact that for some people, they just couldn't swing joining. And that was some feedback that I constantly kept getting. And there are so many different reasons why people can't join, right? Including reasons on myself and how I would sell it and my messaging and my copy and all of that. So there's so much more that I'm not going to dive into. But something has felt off about this program for a while. So it's just been coming up. Like, it's just this feeling, and I don't know how else to explain it besides it being this feeling where it just feels like something is missing or something is off, or it's just not right. Like, that is how it has been feeling for a while. And I would throw out all these different ideas. So what if I did this? Or what if I do this? Or what if I did this? And nothing kind of felt right. And I'm very intuition based. I do a lot of prayers. I do a lot of soul searching and really trying to like hear my intuition and go based on that a lot. So I know it's a little bit woo woo and maybe not up your alley, but this is just how I make decisions, how I process things. But something has just fell off, and none of the other ideas that I threw out there, like I had thrown out there, like maybe I should take out all the Trello templates, because currently the program comes with all of these Trello templates included in it. And I was like, okay, well, let me take out the templates and lower the price so that way more people can join. But that didn't feel right. And then I was thinking maybe I should go the opposite direction and turn it into this like high touch group program and increase the price. And that didn't feel right either. And so for the longest, I've been just playing with this idea. I don't know like what to do with it. I didn't know. I updated the funnels, I updated the messaging, I work with copywriters. I did all of the things to try to make it feel right. I even went and recently updated the entire program. Like I completely revamped it from start to finish. And I felt good after that. I was like, this feels good. Like, this feels right. But then like the selling portion of it didn't. Like, that kind of felt off still. And so I'm sure that this feeling of being off also kind of translated in the way that I would sell it and the way that I would promote it. And I'm sure that also played into its decreasing sales over the past 2 years. And like I said, like it also was very underpriced. So regardless of what anyone would mention about wanting to join and not being able to afford to do so, or whatever the case is, I never ever got told that it wasn't worth the price that I was charging. It was just that they couldn't afford it. But even then, at the price that I'm currently or was currently selling it at, it was underpriced. And so it just, I'm not going to keep going further on this, but this is the decision that I ended up making was it's time to let it go. It is time to let this program go. And this is an idea that actually had came to me before, but my OBM was like, no, like not yet. Like, let's just sit on it. Let's just, let's just figure it out. Just leave it alone. And I was like, okay, we'll leave it alone. Like, it's not bothering me. It's not bothering anyone and just being there. But I kind of knew like, it's time for something else. And I just didn't know what it was, right? But then I got the idea. I got the idea of what else could take place of this Level Up Your Biz with Trello, which is truly my big, it's my big program. It's the one where I go into detail and teaching you how to create strategic systems. I teach you how to use Trello as your tool of choice, as the one that can manage your entire business, all the planning, all the project workflows, everything. Like, I go into super detail in this program. And so it's really, really good. Like, I love it. And I am sad that I'm letting it go. But I have something even bigger and better coming that I am even more excited about. And I think that is why I was going down this path of why everything just fell off. It was all leading me to this decision that I have made. So what's coming? In January, early January of 2024, I will be launching a new membership called Systems Savvy Society. I am so excited. So a lot of Level Up's content will be repurposed into this new membership. So if you have been thinking about joining Level Up and you just haven't quite taken the leap, then you're absolutely going to love this membership. But also, if you have been like, Lucy, I love the way you teach, I just don't use Trello, this is for you too. So this is kind of like my combination of the best of both worlds, right? Because all of my strategies that I teach are like, yes, they're specific to Trello, but also you can use the same strategy and implement it in your tool of choice. I just won't do the behind the scenes walkthrough step by step on how to use it, but you can still run with the strategy and implement it in other tools too. And so this membership is not going to be focused on Trello. I am going to incorporate a lot of Trello into it because that is the tool that I use, but it's not just going to be Trello. I even have big plans to bring in some guests to help with the other tools that I'm not too familiar with. It is going to be the best systems membership out there. We've already started it. We've already put everything in motion to get this created up and running by January. So I am really excited. It's looking super amazing. And this is what the big decision was. It was, I can now have a mini membership that's focused on productivity, which is just letting you dip your toes into what it means to get time back, to like what it means to be more intentional with your time. And this membership is going to be the how. This membership is going to be the driver that helps make that possible. It's going to be what helps you actually get more things done in less time with less overwhelm. So this is going to be my new baby. This will become my signature offer that replaces Level Up Your Biz with Trello. And this membership is what made lowering the price of the Productive Entrepreneurs Club possible. So I am absolutely excited for everything that's about to come. I'm not going to go into details of what this new membership is going to be and include and all of that because it's still in the works, but it will be ready for January. So if you haven't gotten on my email list and you're like, well, I really want to know once you release this membership, then you definitely want to head to cheerstoproductivity.com/PDF and grab my effective weekly planning starter kit. So all of my freebies will be reviewed, revisited, and this one is likely going to go away soon. So if you haven't grabbed it, definitely go grab it now. And then that way you'll be on my list to be notified whenever I am ready to release this new membership, because the founding members launch is going to be the best price that you can join at, okay? And I am not bringing back the founding members price again. Like, this is going to be the one and only time, so you definitely want to join at that time if you're able to. So that's it. Like, these are the big decisions. I guess it's almost like 2.5 decisions that have been feeling like I'm going to blow up my business, but it's for the better. And so if I can just like wrap this up and just give you some concluding thoughts, I would just say to trust your gut. Like, trust your gut. Like, you can really feel if something feels right or not and go with it. Even if it's something that you feel like you should do, if something you're supposed to do, if that's what you think, but your gut is telling you otherwise, trust your gut or just put it on hold and then come back to it later. Things will start to align soon enough, okay? And also this was kind of like my getting rid of the good to make room for the great. So I talk about this on episode 42, where I was inspired by this talk that I saw in person at an in-person conference. And it was all about letting go of the good to make room for the great. And I knew that I had something that I needed to get rid of at that time. I just didn't know what it was. And I kind of talked about it in that episode. And now this feels like that. Like, this feels like that's what that message, like, that's why that message stood out for me. So I really like to look at all of these things because it kind of helps me see that, yes, I am on track to reach my goals, my biggest dreams, my biggest goals, like everything is aligning to help me get there. It might not be at the pace that I wish it would be, but I can see why. I can see why and how it's all working together to help me get to that place. So trust your gut, trust your intuition, and know that my goal is always to help you maximize your little time and to help you create those strategic systems that will help you get more things done in less time with less overwhelm. And this membership is really going to make it more accessible for you to do so while not limiting my strategies to just Trello and fulfilling the teacher in me to continue creating and delivering new trainings, templates, and content. So it's a win-win. All right, friend, and that's all I have today and why I've been feeling like I'm blowing up my business. So if you want to chat more about this topic or you have some thoughts or questions, then send me a DM on Instagram at Cheers to Productivity. I'd love to know what you're thinking. In the next episode, I'm going to share all about my 2023 year and how nothing really went as planned. Thank you so much for listening to the Cheerful Productive Chats podcast with me, Lucy Reyes. To view the transcript and all the links mentioned in today's episode, visit cheerstoproductivity.com/51. And before you go, make sure you subscribe wherever you're listening so you know once the next productive chat is released. Talk soon, and cheers to productivity and success.